Welcome back to the Land Whisperer channel. My name is Chris, I'm a writer of short stories and I'm also a spiritual land worker. Last week we were delving into a shadowy figure called Gwyn ap Neath at Glastonbury Tor. And he was the king of the Faeries and ruled from a place called Anuvan, the otherworld or the underworld. And he's very much associated with Glastonbury Tor and also my own spiritual quest when I was trying to find the Merlin line. This week, we're at a place called Ebbor Gorge, which is a natural gully owned by the National Trust, and it's a place of outstanding natural beauty. It was left behind at the end of the last ice age. As the ice retreated, so water would wheedle its way and work its way through and down the limestone-based rocks underneath. And this beautiful little gorge was created as a result of it. The paleontologists and the archaeologists have found many different species associated with that type of time period, such as mammoths or reindeer or indeed woolly rhinoceros. But as the period of time moved on and warmer weather came after the retreating ice and woodland species came to the fore, then they have also found species like red deer and roe deer, wolves and lynx, amongst many, many others. Although we haven't found yet any evidence of humans here at Ebbor Gorge, not too far away, about 4 miles away in the west, at Cheddar Gorge, we have ample evidence of humans having lived there during this Mesolithic time period, which is between 10,000 and 4,000 BC here in Britain. The lives of our ancestors in the Mesolithic period were intricately linked with the natural world. Indeed, most of their food, most of their clothes, most of their weapons, and also the tools that they used came from the natural world. They fashioned flints from flintstone or stones itself, and they were able to create arrowheads and spearheads that they would use in hunting. But hunting is a particularly precarious kind of lifestyle. You know, not many hunts are actually successful. I think the average is 1 in 6 or 1 in 5, depending on the skill of the actual hunters in question. In order to make those particular hunts successful, I think our ancestors would have had some form of honor-based system and gratitude-based system, praying to a local god perhaps, or something along those lines in order to make a hunt successful or not. And whilst I was doing the research for this time period, I came across a small piece of information from an anthropological source that dealt with a group of people called the Sami. They live even today up in the north of Finland and Sweden and Norway in the Arctic Circle. They are reindeer herders, but they also hunt as well and fish. And a couple of 100 years ago, they had a way of believing that any kind of natural feature that stood out in the environment, like, let's say, a very ancient tree, or a whirlpool, or a fast-flowing river, or a waterfall, or maybe one of those erratic boulders, those huge big boulders left behind when the ice retreated, any of those type of natural features would have been considered to have contained a localized god. And they call those localized gods Seadi. Now, the Seadi would have the capacity to render any hunt that the hunters wanted to go on either successful or unsuccessful. And it all depended on the quality of the offerings that the hunters left behind. And also, if the hunt was successful, the hunters would be expected to leave something of the hunt behind at the Seadi's base. Now, when I came here to Ebbor Gorge in the first time, I came across one of those outcrops, and it inspired several of my short stories about our Mesolithic ancestors, and I'm going to read one of those for you today. It's called Love Conquers All. So please sit back, enjoy the story, and I will speak to you very shortly at the end of it. Love Conquers All. I watch the leaders, both shaman and the hunters, argue every day. Why have the herds not come? Is the watcher not pleased with us? What can we do? Day after day, I listen and watch. I'm a young hunter, and I have no status in the group, but I see the people become hungry and angry. Every day we eat more of the burdock roots that we have marked out for the winter, and it has not yet even blown its first icy blast. I see the worry and concern on everyone's brows. The deer should have been here by now. The shamans say they have made their dedications to the Watcher, and she has not answered. The hunters say they have stalked, and they have not seen any sign of prey at all. Something is definitely wrong, and there is no doubt of that. Still, they bicker and argue amongst themselves. My wife is angry at me. She tells me to go and find food, for she and our baby boy are starving. I think that's a slight exaggeration, but I keep my mouth closed. She's just worried. So am I. But it does no good to scream and shout about it. I must keep my head about me, and so I stay quiet. She thinks I'm not interested enough in them because I show no emotion. I get angry and stare at her directly. Our boy is crying, and I leave the tent to see more people arguing outside, on and on and on. But there is no solution. I sigh heavily and return to my tent. Our boy is suckling and quiet now. My wife has done well. They are both happy in that moment. I let my frustrations go and smile. I then notice the wood by the fire, and I think I can help us all. I head deeper inside and pack my flint, spear and clothes. I take a small batch of fruit leathers that hang by the entrance to the tent. They are there for my hunting trips, but we've been eating them steadily, and now there are less of them. What will you do? She asks, still angry and concerned. Listen, I reply, and I kiss her forehead. I'll be gone for a while. Look after our boy, love. With that, I leave, unsure about what I will actually do. It has turned colder. The first snow has fallen. It happened overnight and caught me unprepared. I sit by the meagre flames of my fire at the base of the Watcher. Even though it's colder now, the smell of the rotting offerings left by the shamans still fill the air. After 2 days, I thought I might have become more accustomed to the reek. I have not. I put more of the branches onto the flames, which greedily lick and cinder them. I look up at the Watcher, who seems more content today somehow. Yesterday she was grey and lifeless. Today she seems radiant. It is as if the stone of her rock face is smiling. The grey is transformed into a pale yellow colour. Maybe she just needed some company. The herds have still not turned up, though it does not worry me. I feel as if I've become part of the solution to the dilemma we all face. I touch the rock and stare at its summit, 20 feet up. Yes, she is happy with my presence. How may I help you, my lady? What can I do? I ask her, feeling awkward as I do so. I am filled with a sudden feeling of love. It comes unannounced, welcome but surprising. It's like a wave of appreciation, at once present and overwhelming. I feel like I am connected to the world in a way I have never felt like before. I see through her eyes, the mountains with their grandeur, stoic and protective, the rivers like blood vessels of the land, the trees and plants providers of provenance, the animals full of life-affirming energy, and the people, the check and balance brigade. She is master of them all in this part of the land, and she loves them all equally. And there it is. I have listened, and now I have the answer. I break the connection with the Watcher, and the feeling of love is immediately removed, leaving me feeling bereft, less. But my determination grows, and I all but run to the fire and start to carve the wood I brought with me. A leg, a second, an arm, then a head. Slowly, over the days that come, I complete my carving and present it to Our Lady, who cares for all. My lady, here is the carving of my son. He's only little and still vulnerable, but he is loved and protected by me. I love him and my wife with all my heart, and now I wish you to feel connected to that love, for I also am grateful for your help and love too. Thank you for watching over us. I lay the carving at her feet and feel her gratitude as a second wave of unconditional love reaches my heart, threatening to burst through my chest. I am powerful, connected, loved and loving, kin to all beings, and I cannot quell my tears. In that moment of all being, I look up, for a noise intrudes. I wipe my eyes clear and see with eyes unburdened. Our salvation is at hand, for on top of the hill the herds of deer march towards me. I must fly and tell my people. I will return, triumphant. Hi there, welcome back. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's one of many. I think I've written about 100 of these type of micro stories, as I call them, all based on the ancestors of ours here in Britain in the Mesolithic period. And some of them are funny, some of them are sad, some of them are horrific. It really just depends on the subject matter that I choose to write about. And of course, an awful lot of it was to do with hunting and gathering, but it's people's relations as well, and the emotions that they felt in living in such a beautiful environment and a challenging environment at that too. Anyway, I like how the photograph that I've got there, or the photographs that I've got of that particular outcrop, match with the story that I wrote, and it was that outcrop that was in the back of my mind when I was writing the stories. So you see that the natural world does actually sometimes inspire stories for writers like myself to complete. I will dig out a few more if you're interested, and we'll read them when the environment calls for it, I think is probably the best thing. So maybe in a couple of weeks at Cheddar, but we'll speak about that then. Anyway, in the next episode, I'm going to be taking you to Priddy Barrows. It's a cemetery of round barrows up in the Mendip Hills, not so far away from here, but it's really quite a special place. And I will talk about that next time. In the meantime, I pass you unconditional love as always, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.